Today, I react to the worst Christmas fails on the TIFU subreddit. Let's see how bad it gets. Today, I fucked up by posting about my attraction to my cousin during Christmas. Don't click away, this isn't a shitpost. We're not really cousins. She's my cousin's half sister, with that half coming from non-blood relation party. But anyway, she was there at the family gathering, and I can never keep my mind off her as long as if she's in the same room. I decided to post about this on our confessions, because this is a new account I couldn't post immediately, and left the post sitting on my phone. When I open my phone back up, I'm greeted by the post about while she's sitting next to me. Imagine the cringe as you're sitting next to your cousin, well, not your real cousin, but sitting next to someone you shouldn't really be attracted to. They see that, oh. She had a chance to read the title before I could close it up and ask to it. Before I could pull it away, she took it from me and read it, then proceeded to tell everyone about it. I wish I could have disappeared right in that moment, but I'm no magician. Now, my family is looking at me sideways and making fun of me. I haven't been ostracized or anything, but I'm never living this down. Nah, you ain't living that down, buddy. That's gonna be brought up every single time you go to a massive family gathering. It's gonna be referenced every single time, and you can never live it down. You're gonna have to play into it. For context, I'm 14. She's 19 and has only been in this country for 2 years for reference. Stop the boats, get her out. I have no biological uncles, and this girl is the daughter of my aunt's husband. She's my aunt's stepchild. I don't think it's that bad because it's not his real cousin. So, and he's younger. If they were the same age, then I think it would have been worse. Or it would, well, worst case scenario is that she's even younger than him. But you know, it all's good in my books. You know, but not one for incest. That's all. That's what I say. Today I fucked up by locking up my kids' Christmas presents and losing the key. Oh, this is going to be interesting. What's the wife going to say? Or husband? Wife. Over the past week, my wife and I have been collecting and storing our 2 kids' Christmas presents in a tool room that's been attached to the house. Yesterday, around noon, we received a big gift, so I removed a folding table and my daughter's bike from the shed to make room. I locked up the door and went to bring the bike around back. Fast forward 3 hours later and my wife is home and wants to get a head start on wrapping the gifts. But the key is gone. The key is on a separate keychain. I've absolutely no idea what I did with the key. I've checked the usual spots I put my car keys. At no avail. Now we have upwards of $600 of presents sitting unwrapped in an inaccessible shed. And I have no plan for how to retrieve them prior to Christmas. Would you not be able to get a locksmith or even break into the shed by like taking the door off? Maybe surely there's a way, or getting a metal detector, trying to find where the keys are. Can you not drill a little hole into the shed and make the smallest kid go crawl into it or something? I don't know. Edit. Ended up calling a locksmith. They showed up in like 10 minutes, picked the lock, made me a key for it. I'm out $80, which sucks around the holidays. But I guess if that's the worst case, it's no big deal. Wish I would have done it yesterday, yeah, now. Suppose it's a happy ending, but it would have been better if you cut a small hole for your small child to crawl through. You know, but game's a game, I suppose. If it's easier to get a locksmith, it's easier. Today I fucked up by pretending to be married with my mother and ruining Christmas. That's a bit what was all these incesty Christmas stories? This didn't actually happen today, but about 7 years ago, early December. Oh, that's alright. It's not Christmas incest then, is it? You know those member card things almost every shop has? That you need to order to get several discounts and sometimes can collect the bonus points? So does our local shop where we usually buy our groceries. My mother got such a card, and because I was tired about always asking for a card, Junior me had a brilliant idea. Now I wish it was an incest story. I wrote an email to the company that runs the store. I told them that I'm the husband of my mother, and because we don't want to separate the bonus points we earn by using 2 different cards, It would be very nice if they could send me a second copy of my wife's card. Back then, for some reasons, though it's not necessary to tell them I'm her husband, because although they'll never send a copy of the card to a child, that is just the spelling and that is awful. So if I started in that, what I did, then fuck this guy. I never got a reply. I just though, that's because they want people to use one card per person. That's where the story ends for Junior Me. But where is the fuck up? Well, the company that runs the store, though the email I wrote to them was kind of strange and called my mother. At this point, I might need to tell you that my parents are divorced. They're not hating each other, but I wouldn't call them good friends either. However, we still celebrate Christmas at my father's place as a family, a tradition I really like. I fucking hate this guy already. What's this bloody spelling? And I'm gonna have to read the rest of this. There's still a long story to go. Now, my mother got a call that her husband had contacted them and asked for a copy of her card. She declined the request and then called my dad and asked him what the fuck he was thinking and that he should stop that. Poor dad obviously had no idea what she was talking about and told her that he did nothing like that. Confused mum then called the company about details, but because of the data protection stuff, they could only tell her that the email came from Mr. my last name. Well, now my dad is a pretty stubborn person. After my mom went back to find him and falsely accused him of doing weird shit, they got mad at each other. It ended up to be the first ever year we did not celebrate Christmas together as a family, which Junior Me didn't understand at all at that point, because my parents didn't want me to know about their problems. None of them told me. Good guy parents. Well, they're clearly not good guy parents. They need to fucking send you to school, you mate. Well, what's this bloody spelling? What's this fucking spelling about? It's impossible to read. You can't even spell parents right. 1 or 2 months later, Junior Me got annoyed by always having to ask my mum for a card. So I went to her and asked her if she could maybe make a request a copy that I could use it. That's when she suddenly realised that Mr. My Last Name, who requested a copy of the card, was me and not my dad. She got pretty mad at me and immediately called my dad, who found the whole story simply hilarious and still joking with me about this story up until today. In the end, I just decided to request my own card. My parents are no longer mad at each other, and every following Christmas up until today got celebrated as a family again. Still ended up destroying that year's Christmas, got my mother mad at both me and my dad, and I'm now getting joked by my dad every year since. That was a shit story. Today, I fucked up, throwing away my friend's ashes from their grandmother on Christmas. It took me a lot of courage to post this. A lot. So, I went over to my friend's house on Christmas Eve, because we'd had this tradition for 10 years to go back and forth celebrating Christmas at each other's houses. Apparently he's let his nephew rent a room out, and kicked him out 2 days ago because he kept messing up the house completely, and was very irresponsible overall. I agreed to help clean the place up before his family and a few of our friends came over tomorrow. I mainly swept, vacuumed and dusted, and threw away some empty alcoholic bottles, plus taking out some garbage. The house looked nice, smelled clean, and we were both proud of ourselves for cleaning up so damn good. We ended up going to sleep not long after and woke up the next day around 6 a.m. to get prepared for everything. While I was searching for some eggnog, banging by the way, to set out for everyone to drink, I came across an empty bottle of vodka hidden behind some bottles in the fridge that seemed to be filled with something that looked like cigarette ash. I obviously threw it away because in my mind, why would I keep an empty bottle of vodka filled with the remains of a cigarette? Hours went by and people started arriving. We sat down, had a nice dinner, spoke about our favourite time about the holidays, etc. My friend got up, went to his room telling us to wait there for a second and that he'll be right back. Some of us were wondering what he was getting. Most of us were thinking it was some sort of secret Santa event, so on. We pretty much just continued our conversation until we heard him freaking out in another room. First, most of us looked around pretty shocked. I decided to get up and go and check things out. telling everyone else at the dinner table to give me a minute. Just going off the title, you know that vodka bottle was probably filled with his nan's ashes. But I guess we'll find out. I entered the room and saw most of his objects on the ground and his bed sheets ripped off. I was really shocked and asked him what was wrong. He then replied telling me that grandmother's ashes were gone. He used to keep them in a vase, but he recently put them in a necklace that he found out was owned by his grandmother before she passed on. I started looking around with him until I remembered the vodka bottle. That was just cigarette ash, right? No way that'll be anything but that. Why would there be in there? He told me he thought his nephew had stole it until I looked under his bed and found the necklace, empty of any ash. I just find it strange how you'd keep your nan's ashes in the fridge. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. In a vodka bottle in the back of the fridge, so why would you keep it in the fridge? She's not going to be too hot, is she? I suppose she got burnt, but I immediately started freaking out and told him what I threw away earlier, and he ran out the room and into the kitchen, digging into the garbage cans and not caring what anyone else at the table who were there thought. I came out as well and awkwardly started digging through the cans too. I could sense everyone else was uncomfortable by the energy going through the house. Luckily, he got the bottle. Unluckily, the ashes had fallen out of it when it was thrown away. In the end, I went home because I felt terrible and could tell my friend was very hurt inside. I'm pretty sure his drunk nephew put the ashes in the bottle. I messaged him yesterday and he was yet to respond, so I feel like he hates me now. Can't really blame him because if his nephew put the ashes from the necklace into the vodka bottle, then it's not his fault, is it? It's his mate just tried to do him a favour and he got caught in the middle of it. So I'd forgive him if I was his mate, but you know. Today I fucked up by purchasing my mum a dildo for Christmas. There's some very odd behaviour going on in these Reddit forums. So this actually happened the Friday after Thanksgiving. This year is the first year my family won't be able to congregate for Christmas. So I agreed to do a white elephant at our turkey day because everyone else and their significant others would be there. When this plan was discussed in the group chat, I happened to be scrolling through the Reddit and saw a post talking about how Bad Dragon had an unusually large inventory. Perfect, I thought. It'll be a great gag gift. So you knew it was a dildo straight away. And they make great toys. My whole family can't be that prudish. The context: my family is usually very open with each other, very tight knit, and a loving family. That being said, I impulse sport. We aren't that close. There's some very strange behaviour going on in these Reddit forums. Like, why would you buy your mum a dildo no matter how close you are? You're not going to be that close, are you? The next day after my purchase, my brother asked if we were going to do real gifts this year, and to my dismay, the answer was a resounding yes. Well, the next day came and everyone selected their presents. Before we opened, my mother interrupted and told us about this game she found on the internet where you roll the dice and the number tells you to pass the gift whichever direction. We opened our gifts and everyone was appalled at the tentacle dildo. I have no sympathy for you, honestly. If you buy your family member a fucking tentacle dildo, I don't know what you expect. It's like, I think that's like gone past the line, but I suppose other people's families are closer than others, the royal family. I tried to defend it. It was a high quality dildo. I figured one of them was cool enough to want it. It's not like it was cheap. Well, that makes it better. My poor brother, who always gets the short end of the stick, kept repeatedly having this tentacle handed back to him. It felt like the other dice give my brother the tentacle dildo who's obviously uncomfortable being around. By the end of the game, my mother stole it from him so he could have one of the other gifts. It was a big misfire. Merry Christmas, Mum. What would you do if you walked into your mum's room and just found it on the floor, clearly next to her bed? Like, you're the reason for that, so you can't even be embarrassed. That's fucked. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Some of those TIFU fails made me feel so much better about my Christmas, and I hope it did for you too. So if you enjoyed that video, probably not, please like, subscribe, and See you later.